dehydration can actually exacerbate or trigger perimenopause and menopause symptoms. And we know that water is absolutely vital just to maintain the majority of body functions that happens on a daily basis. So the other week I talked about how you can end up being dehydrated without actually realizing it. So this week I'm talking about the symptoms that can either be triggered by dehydration or can be made a lot worse. So here are some of them. Number one is fatigue. If your body is starved of the very things it needs to keep it going on a daily basis, your body is going to struggle, and that can then lead to fatigue. It can lead to low energy. And the thing is that dehydration can actually mimic a lot of the symptoms that may be mistaken for menopause ones. So it's one of these situations where dehydration can cause a symptom, so can the menopause as well, and it can end up being quite confusing. Number two is your hot flushes and night sweats. This is quite a strange one, but if you have lots of hot flushes and night sweats, you get dehydrated. If you're dehydrated, that can impact on your nervous system, which then can trigger a series of events that can trigger hot flushes and night sweats. So this one can end up being a real vicious cycle that can be difficult sometimes to interpret. You're not actually knowing that this is going on. Number three, brain fog. If you think about it, our brain needs so many different things to function. And you know, studies have shown that if you're dehydrated, your brain actually shrinks. So how are you going to think well if you're dehydrated? And an interesting thing here is, if you get brain fog at the same time just about every day, then very often that's a really good indication that you're dehydrated and you haven't drunk enough over the last few hours. It can also impact on the way that you think, your cognitive function as well. So it's not just the fact that you get that little bit of brain fog, but if you're dehydrated, then memory, recall, focusing, and just general being in the present moment can be a problem as well. We know too that dehydration can trigger anxiety. It can do the palpitations. It can also cause panic attacks too. So again, if you're getting these regularly, it may be more to do with being dehydrated than the actual menopause or perimenopause itself. And of course, if you are dehydrated, you're going to experience dryness just about anywhere in the body. So if you're regularly dehydrated, it can contribute to vaginal dryness, dry eyes, dry mouth, dry skin. It can affect your hair as well. You can end up getting sort of brittle and dry hair too. Number 6 is joint and muscle pain, believe it or not. So that joint pain, that stiffness you get first thing in the morning, or if you feel it's creeping on, can just be due to dehydration. And this is one, if you start drinking water, it can resolve really, really quickly. Remember too that things like muscle cramps and restless leg at night can be part of this particular picture as well. And also we've got things like urinary problems. If you are dehydrated, your urine is going to be very strong, it's going to be very acidic, it's going to keep irritating the bladder, you're going to be running to the toilet a lot more, you're going to end up getting symptoms that are exactly identical to things like cystitis. So if you're getting a lot of discomfort, you're going to the doctor, tests are coming back negative for cystitis, it may be simple plain old dehydration. So the things you need to do here, really simple: 1.5 litres of water at least a day. It needs to be plain water. Fizzy drinks, tea, coffee, fruit juices, flavoured waters, unless it's a real natural flavouring, really don't count and won't help. And this 1.5 litres needs to be over and above your other drinks. I always find I start the day with a big glass of water about this size. The minute I get up, it's the first thing that I do, regardless if I'm hungry or want my breakfast or a cup of tea. That is my first big drink of the day. And it makes such a difference. Your body will thank you for it. And interestingly, because you've been dehydrated all night, your body will soak this up like a sponge, and you won't be running to the toilet anymore with this one. Your body will really use it. I also recommend a nice little shot glass of warm water just before bed. It's not enough to put pressure on your bladder, but it can help to keep you hydrated during the night, especially if you're getting night sweats. And also look at the foods you're eating. If you're having lots of natural foods with a high water content, that's going to help. So things like your watermelon, vegetables, loads of different soups, things like that can be really, really helpful. And remember, limit the drinks that cause dehydration. That's things like your caffeine, your fizzy drinks, and your alcohol. I hope you found this one helpful. For those of you that think, oh, I might be a little bit dehydrated, try the water for a week, then let me know how you feel. For those of you that have done it, how has it made your life that much better? Have a lovely week, and I'll see you soon.